You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. I'm your host, Ryan England, and this is another episode of Titans of the Trades. Today's guest is Jason Noel. He's the Director of Advisement at CEO Warrior. And one of the things that I really liked about his background is that not only does he coach and advise owners in the trades on how to get more out of their business, but he's been there and he's done it. He's done some amazing things operationally with businesses, everything from attracting great people, training up the next generation of technicians, and even keeping them. And he's got some great tips, some great strategies to help you with that. So get ready to take some notes. So welcome Jason to the show. Jason, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, Ryan.
You know, when Seth introduced us and when he reached out, he's told me that you've got a history as an operator of building companies, making them successful, building great teams, hiring great people. And I was just like, okay, this is music to my ears. Yeah. I've got to interview Jason because I'm sure you have some great nuggets for our listeners and things that you've learned along the way. And probably some things you even teach your advisors now to help coach other owners in the trades now that you're over at CEO Warrior. So thinking about back on your history and your career and everything else you've done, what are some lessons that you've learned that you think that most of our listeners or even owners in the trades could learn from that would really just accelerate results for them?
I think probably the biggest thing for me, Ryan, is just making sure that you focus on your people, making sure that you have the right people, right? So, I mean, you're correct. I've been an operator. I'm an operator, at heart. I'm a numbers guy. Took me a little while to understand that I was in the people business as well, right? I wasn't just in the financial number business. So, and I've had success by surrounding myself with really, really great people, especially people that maybe had skills or passions that I didn't necessarily have or possess. So just surrounding myself with really great people and continuing to focus on those people, right? Because it can be, when we're in the trades, we're in the business day to day, we can continue to I can grind the numbers like nobody's business, but we're in the people business, right? It doesn't matter what we're offering, what product we're offering. We're in the people business. We have clients, we have people taking care of us, taking care of our clients. So we're really in the people business. That's probably the biggest thing for me. And I will be honest to say it took me a little while to really realize that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important too, being in the people business, you have to understand that you get all the ups and downs of being in people
absolutely.
Business, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not always good. And sometimes it can feel like it's always bad, but being able to adapt and pivot to that, I think is really critical. So once you had this realization that you're in the people business, what were some of the things that you found really helped you better connect with your people, maybe engage with your people, just keep them productive? The thing on the street is right now, nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
You don't build a successful business if that's true. I don't believe it's true.
That's not true. Mm-mm.
I like to say nobody wants to work for you. We can talk about that.
That could be fair. Yeah. That could be a fair assessment.
What are some of your thoughts about that? Like, how do we engage our people and keep them productive and keep them around? Retention's a big issue right now for a lot of companies out there in the trades.
Yeah, for me, and it's not a secret sauce, and it's going to sound really simple, but it's to care, right? It's to act and not just care, not pretend to care, but actually care, right? So like being available, being present, actually caring about your people is a big one for me. And it took, again, it wasn't that I didn't care for people, right? It was just that I had a tough time showing it. Right. So I had to adapt in my career was just they had to understand that I truly did care.
And I think too, we have this belief inside, like if you care, you have to show weakness and then people are going to take advantage of you. And I find that that's not even close to the truth. It's just a fear that we have that's not real. What are your thoughts?
100% agree. Yeah, 100% agree. Caring for people is not a weakness, right? I think it's being vulnerable like that. It actually shows that you're stronger, right? I think you have a stronger character by being able to do that at a level of confidence. Not cockiness, but confidence, right? So I don't think that's a weakness at all. I think it actually shows exactly the opposite of that.
I love that. I think that, and two, let's talk about this for a second. When you say caring, like, what are you talking about specifically? Like their productivity, their profitability, their personal life? Like, what do we care about?
All the above.
Go down this path? All the above.
All the above. But I think the real key is the real key to showing someone you care is actually listening to them. I was big on having one-on-one meetings with my technicians and my guys, and asking how I could help them. Of course, we talked about performance. We talked about how they could improve. We talked about family life. We talked about all those things, but I wanted to try to understand, if I could understand kind of what their why was, and I could help them achieve that. That was what really showed them that I cared.
I think that's great. We talk about the why when we work with the companies in the work that we do for the corporate hiring system. And I like to say, what is it that gets people out of bed on the days they don't want to get out of bed?
Yeah. And that's it's different for everybody, right?
Everybody.
Absolutely.
And usually it's not to make you rich, right? Like, just so we're clear.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Not
usually. Yeah.
Rich. There's something else motivating them. And if you don't know what that is, and then someone comes along and says, hey, I'm going to help you with that, they're going to leave you for what is perceived as 50 cents more an hour, when they're really leaving you because you don't care about what's important to them.
100%. 100% agree. Absolutely.
So there's a lot of talk about the trades right now, and this idea that kids these days got to go the college route. They got to go get $250,000 in debt so they can get out and maybe get a job. And we don't have to debate the college thing right now, but I think one of the things that's really been missing for the industry is this idea that people don't know how good the jobs can be. There's a history of people being treated poorly if they were in the trades. And that, I think, is what's gotten people to say, yeah, maybe I'll go the college route. But there's some amazing opportunities in the trades. And one of the things that we're seeing a lot now is that you've got the older generation, the guys with all the skills, they're aging out. This is backbreaking work. Like, it's not something you're going to do until you're in your 70s or 80s.
Absolutely.
So they're aging out. So there's this new generation of kids coming in to the trades. And what I find is nobody wants to hire the new kid. Everybody wants the guy with 5 years experience as a service tech. He's got his own tools, knows how to talk to the customer, knows how to troubleshoot everything. That's what they want. But that's not the reality. So how can we start thinking about this next generation? What can we do to bring them in, prepare them for this amazing opportunity? I know you've got some experience in apprenticeship programs and training guys. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that work for you?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, exactly like you said, like, everybody wants the experienced guy, right? Can come in and just fix problems. But yeah, that person's great, but it's hard to find. And like you said, some of the older technicians now are they're ready to retire, right? Their bodies are broken. It's a hard work. Like, I have a great respect for anybody that does trade work. But some of the young kids in high schools and things, that they're almost being led and directed to where they almost feel like they have to go to college, right? And I know like you said, we can debate that later, but I have no issues with college, none whatsoever. I went to college. I didn't graduate. And I've had a very very lucrative career in the trades. So to your point, like, I would rather hire somebody based on attitude and excitement rather than experience, really. So yeah, like you said, I started an apprenticeship program. I've done it at a couple of different companies now. Just being able to, we did a lot of personality profiling, trying to find out the right attitude of a right person and a right tech, in the right seat. And just training them, right? Training them. And the thing I loved about the apprenticeship program well, there are many things, but the main thing was a young person can go into an apprenticeship program and get paid to go to school and not have the debt, because a lot of companies will pay for your schooling along with the fact that you're getting work experience and getting paid at the same time. So you're not coming out of school in debt. You're actually coming out of school with probably a decent savings account. I've had so many apprentices that have gone through and become, licensed technicians that when they got out of school, they were able to buy a house, right? Most kids coming out of college and things like that can't do that now.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're coming out with all this debt, and then it's hard to find a job.
Yeah.
Right. Coming out of school in the trades, it's not hard to find a job.
No, it is not. In fact, it depends on who you talk to, but I mean, it's upwards of 1 million open jobs in the trades in the United States.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure.
And it's just growing, because as our infrastructure ages, which it is doing in this country, as our infrastructure ages and the housing booms and all the other stuff, like, there's just so much more opportunity. And if you're good, I mean, that's the other thing about it. Very rarely you're going to be able to go to college and go out and get a job and then start your own business or run your own teams or do all that stuff. I mean, there's so much opportunity, even in the entrepreneurship area in the trades, that you don't get in a lot of other industries.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic. So what are some of the things, I'm sure there's people listening right now going, yeah, I've heard this whole apprenticeship things, but oh my gosh, putting together a 4-year apprenticeship and this and that, there's just so much stuff and the costs, and then I got to go find the kids. What are some things that you've learned along the way that you could help people listening right now shortcut that process?
Shortcutting to try to find people. We've spent a lot of times in high schools doing job fairs. Really, we have one client here at CO Warrior now that's gone out. He's really made a connection with his local high school, and he's really targeted. What he's found is he's targeted wrestlers. Because they're independent, right? They don't count on anybody else. They have to make decisions. And he's had really great success hiring wrestlers and running them through an apprenticeship program. Right. And one thing I always liked was anybody that was in sports, because you knew they had a competitive nature, right? You knew they had a drive. And it's really not that expensive to find these people. You just gotta put yourself out there a little bit, right? And you just gotta talk to people. There are so many great kids out there that think they should go to college, but they don't really want to, right? You just got to be able to find them. So it's just getting yourself out there in schools, trades programs, local trade schools, job fairs, just things like that. So that's what I would suggest, is just go. And again, most people aren't looking to hire 30 apprentices, right? We may need 2, 3, 4, right? To build them. So, right, to find 2 or 3 really great kids coming out of college, it's not that hard.
Yeah. It's interesting. The internet's made us lazy. That's what's happening.
Absolutely.
The internet's made us lazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember when I was in high school, I mean, this was 30 years ago. And I remember getting out of high school and before I went to college going, I better go get a job. Yeah, and back then, I went and I put on my Sunday best.
Oh, yeah.
And I printed off a bunch of resumes and I went down to the business park and the industrial complex and I walked in and I handed out resumes. Yeah. It was really easy to get a job because all of my friends were like, oh, I just looked through the newspaper. If I don't see anything I like, I don't do anything. But I also remember when I was in shop class in high school, I remember like once a week, there was someone who was supporting the shop class, a local trades group, owner or a technician would come in and they'd talk about the industry. They actually put in the effort to come meet us face to face.
Yeah.
And now what do all these people do? Oh, I post on Indeed and no one wants to a job. I'm like, well, because good people aren't on Indeed. Don't get me started on that rant, but the good people that you want are not there. They're in the shop class and you've got to go meet them where they're at. So I love that. And I think that's a good lesson all the way around is as much as people love the convenience of the internet, the belly to belly, face to face relationship building, like we can't forget that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, whenever I'm consulting with a client or anything and they're talking about hiring people, you're right. It's, well, I did this ad, I did that ad. I'm like, well, why aren't you stopping and talking to people at the gas station? Right? Why aren't you stopping and talking to people at the supply house? Go out and get the people yourself. Like, you're right. It has made us lazy. We think it's easier that way, but sometimes you just gotta go out and pound the pavement a little bit.
We had a client that went and bought the billboard that was outside the supply house and they just started advertising their job. So every time a tech came into the supply house, there was the billboard.
Yeah.
You just got to be a little creative,
Absolutely.
think outside the box, be different, and stop being lazy about it. There's amazing people out there.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And
There's tons of good people out there, and there are a lot of good young people that want to work. We just
I'm
got to
sure you
find them.
got tons of stories. We've got tons of stories of clients being like, I filled all my trucks. Like, I need more business now before I can hire more. I never thought I could.
What a
do
great
that.
problem.
Yeah, great problem to have. So, so let's talk about this as we get ready to wrap up here. So we do all this work. We build this apprenticeship program. We engage our people. We care about them. Is there anything else we can do to keep them? Because I know that's a big fear for a lot of people right now, is that a technician is going to just say, here's the keys and not come back, which happened. I mean, we all got stories of that. So what are some things you learned along the way to help us keep our techs, besides the caring for them, investing in them, and some of the stuff we already talked about? Is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, the two you just mentioned are the biggest, right? Investing in them is more than just caring, right? It's training, it's understanding, it's helping them develop a career path, right? Understanding where they want to go, what they want to do, right? That's a big part of retention for me. Was I just wanted to understand as you sit here today as an apprentice, where do you want to go from here, right? And maybe you don't know today, but I wanted to make sure we had that open communication to where we had those conversations every so often, right? To make sure I understood you were on the right path. I'm giving you the information you need. I'm giving you the training you need to develop, right? I always wanted, as a general manager in a large company, I always wanted people that wanted to take my position, right? Because I can't progress unless I have somebody fill my spot, right? And that's one thing I want everyone to understand is train somebody to fill your spot so you can progress. Right. I think that was a big part of retention. And then just doing, this is going to sound kind of silly, Ryan, but just being nice. So many people get away from just being nice. Like, right. I mean, buy somebody lunch or give them a gift card or tell them they did a good job. Right. We spend too much time talking about coaching all the things they did wrong. Right. I want to have meetings and tell you how great you are and how well you did. Right. I don't want to, you just got to be nice. And it sounds silly, but it's simple, but that's what it is.
It is silly and it is simple for the people that are nice.
100%, right? But it doesn't always come naturally either. Yeah. Especially if we're entrepreneurs and we're drive, go. Again, like I said in the beginning, we forget about what's going to help us get to the next level, and that's people, right? So you've got to be nice along the way, or you're just going to steamroll people.
Yeah. And remember that as the owner, as the entrepreneur, even as the manager or the leader in the company, most of the people working for you are not built like you.
That 100%. Yeah.
So stop expecting them to think like you, to act like you, to behave like you. Yeah. They're not going to do it, because realistic. If they are, they're your competition. They're not your employee.
Absolutely.
So really recognize the fact that if you've got great people and they're not living up to your standards, it might be that your standards are in the wrong place and are a little too high, and really care for them. One of the things we like to do to help with engagement is a lot of technicians, especially, and we do a lot of work in construction too. A lot of companies pay weekly because their technicians can't budget for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. And so one of the things that we love seeing companies do is implementing something like Financial Peace University or something to help the technicians with managing their own bills and their budgeting and their own finances.
Which is stuff they don't teach in high school.
That goes a long ways with these guys.
Which is not something they teach in high school.
It is not something they teach in high school. They teach you how to get a credit card.
And max it out.
But that's it.
Yeah.
They teach you how to get a credit card. They stop there.
Absolutely. No, and you kind of hit on something there too that kind of made me think of another point too, is just creating like I talked about career path, but just creating clarity and setting expectations, right? I think that helps retain people too, because if you don't know the vision of the leader, it's really hard to get on board, right? So it's creating that clarity around the vision of who's leading the train, right?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And expectation setting, we could have a whole podcast just about how to do that. But hey, Jason, let me ask you this. As we wrap up here, I'm sure there's people that they've heard you and they've heard some of your ideas and some of your things, and you're actually part of a larger company, CEO Warrior. that works with entrepreneurs and their leaders on some of the things that we're talking about. And I know you've got an offer for our listeners right now. So could you share a little bit, if people want to learn more about what you're doing over there, how to get a hold of you, what opportunities might exist for them to enroll their people in this? Can you share?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you my email, my CEO Warrior email, jason@ceowarrior.com. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything like that. We do have a couple of events coming up the rest of this year. So we do a lot. I don't know if you know, Ryan, but we do a lot of training. We train in the trades, of course, for every single position in the trades industries. But we also have a couple of events that you can just attend and learn more about CEO Warrior and what we do. So we have one coming up September the 19th and 20th, and that's at our home office in New Jersey. We have another one in November, which is November 14th and 15th, and we're going to have that one in Houston. So both of those are 2-day events. You can come see what we do at CEO Warrior. There is a small ticket price. If you mention this podcast, then you can get a 10% discount off of the ticket sale. You can also visit our website at ceowarrior.com. You can book a strategy call there if you want to learn more. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you want to learn more. But yeah, I'd love to see you guys attend. And we're here for business owners in the trades, and we know that you guys are super hard workers, right, out in the field. Sometimes you come you're in a truck still, right? We want to help you get out of a truck.
Yeah. So a couple of things. So first off, make sure you mention Titans of the Trades when you reach out to book this. And if you're listening to this podcast and it's after the time, I know you can go look up Jason and CEO Warrior. And I know they have events all the time. In fact, I've had some clients go to them. And here's what I'll tell you. If you're feeling in a funk and you're not quite sure what you want to do with your business, you just need a reset and just high energy, just pumped about your business again, you owe it to yourself and your team to go check these out. Because when people come out of this, they are on fire for their business, which is incredible that you're able to do that in 2 days.
Yeah, and you'll come out of this train. I mean, it's a workshop too. I mean, we do motivation, we do mindset work, but it's more of a workshop. And you're going to come out with a 90-day plan, a 90-day roadmap for your business, right? Whether you sign up with CEO Warrior or not, you come to this event, you're going to come out with a 90-day roadmap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's powerful stuff. I get the phone calls. They're in the airport and they call me and they're like, I just got done. I'm like, okay, calm down. It's good stuff. Jason, thank you so much for sharing some of your wisdom today. I know that there's so much more we could talk about. And I imagine that anybody that takes advantage of your offer to get that discount is going to learn so much more as part of your 2-day
awesome
training.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me, Ryan. This has been great.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.